It seems like most people retire at about the age of 60. I retired at 56 with 38 years of federal service in March of this year, March of 2025. It wasn't the first time I had left, but it is the last time. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory on how I got here, why I retired, maybe some of the decisions that led me to leave the last few times, and also some lessons I've learned along the way. If we haven't met, my name is Kim. This is my retirement season where we're talking about life after work, building new rhythms, and not being done, creating meaningful work, whether it's volunteer work, new work, whatever it is in this season, creating meaning and purpose. And I'm excited that you're here. So a little bit of my story. I started my career journey, though I don't know that I would have called it that because I was a high school student back in the 80s. And I was very fortunate to immediately get to know some great people and have supervisors who saw more in me than I saw in myself. And it started me on a career journey that took me to different locations with different agencies, progressively higher positions, and it was a really beautiful career. In 2006, I left to create space for family and life outside of work. It was the first time in my life that I was not the one providing the health insurance benefits, and that I felt like I had a real partner and real help, I guess, if you will, in raising this family that we had. Within a week of leaving, my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and 4 months later, he was gone. And so for me, that's a providential time. That was really a nudge to do something that I didn't even understand why. There were some other benefits to me leaving at that time, but really that was for me the main benefit. And I thought, man, if this had happened when I had been working, I wouldn't have had the flexibility to spend with my dad. And so I'm so grateful for that time. But because I didn't leave in a flash or mad at anybody or anything, I actually had the opportunity to return to federal service at a different agency in 2007. So I don't think it wasn't quite a year later. And it started a different kind of a career track for me that led me to really great opportunities, much higher leadership roles that really stretched me and gave me the opportunity to build great teams, which is frankly one of my most favorite things. Part of being a civil service is working with our customers, trying to come to creative solutions based on the constraints that we have. And so one favorite thing was bringing our employees and our customers together and finding the solutions together. The other favorite thing was helping employees see themselves through my eyes, that they could do more than they thought they could do, and actually giving them permission to pursue the thing they wanted to do rather than the thing that someone told them they should do. That was a favorite part of being a leader in the organization. You know, we went through 2020, and that was a challenging time. It was a tiring time for everyone. But the thing that it did for me was help me to go back and refocus on what's really important, Kim. And it's family and my faith and my marriage and relationships. So in 2022, I had discovered that because I had so many years in, I actually could take a deferred retirement at a later date and I could leave right then. And so it wasn't a quick decision. My husband and I thought about it and prayed about it and talked about it for quite some time. But when the time came, it was obvious. And I decided to leave federal service in 2022, February 2022. And we had bought some property in Wyoming and had a little place that we could raise chickens and grow a garden, and I could homeschool my grandson. And it was just something that I thought would be really cool and interesting. And I do not regret that for a moment. It was a beautiful time to focus on them, 2 different grandsons for 2 years. So that was a great time. But again, at that time, I did not leave with clanging bells or cymbals, or however they say it. I left to pursue something else, not to burn what was behind. And so I kept friendships and relationships from that time. And while I actually never envisioned going back, in the summer of 2024, an opportunity presented itself that I really just couldn't pass up. The opportunity to mentor and coach employees across one state and try to pour back into them what I feel like I was able to get out of that organization. It was a great opportunity. And gosh, I loved working with the people that I was working with. Fast forward to late 2024, and I was asked to fill in with a leadership position because they needed to have a transition time. And so I did, and I really loved that also and loved that team there. But then an offer came at the end of January of 2025, and it was essentially for all federal employees a corporate style buyout. And we only had 1 week to decide whether we would resign or retire in 2025 in an effort to downsize government. And initially, I was not interested at all. I thought, man, I just got back. I don't think I'm ready to go. And yet, I will admit that it was very interesting, and I just kept thinking, could this be like the time with Dad? I mean, could this be something that actually is being gifted and offered to me to get back to some priorities? And so after literally just a couple of days of prayer, contemplation, time, and thought with my husband, Joe, we decided that, yeah, I would go ahead and take this offer and retire in March of this year. So not a lot of time to decide, which also meant not a lot of time to decide what's next. And that role had required me to move to a new location. So there were steps I had to take. There was things I had to clean up to end that part and end my career there. But after a time, I rested and spent time with family, and then started thinking, what now? I knew that I was now retired, but I didn't want to sit on the couch. I wasn't looking to not have anything to do. At the same time, I didn't know exactly what. I didn't really want to go pursue another full-time job. And so my coach, because I think every good coach needs a coach, presented an idea of, what if this is your sabbatical season? What if this is a time that you get to leave behind what was and just consider and be open to what's new, but you don't have to commit to anything right now? And it really was just kind of a light bulb moment for me. And so that's what this is. This is my sabbatical season. I guess I would offer, if you're at a crossroads of retirement and you don't know what's next, what's after retirement, what would you do, to consider maybe thinking that you could have a sabbatical season. And who knows, the beauty of it is, who knows how long it lasts. Is it months? Is it years? It doesn't really matter, because at this point, if you're in a good situation and you are able to retire, then you get to take the time to decide what it is that you want to do next. So for me, the 3 things that I kind of landed on was that this sabbatical season was not an ending. It was a time to rediscover, rest, reflect, try different things. And the second thing was to reconsider, what am I going to anchor myself in? So as a career employee, I had anchored myself in the mission and values of the agency. I mean, I had my own values of faith and family, but now I decided that I could actually add, because I wasn't taking on that mission and that value, I could add more to my plate for my anchors. So for me, that is faith, going deeper. It is being more flexible for family. It is pursuing health, which I maybe lightly have done over the last several decades, but not really intentionally. And so that is an anchor for me now, to really pursue health and figure out what that means for creating health that'll sustain me long term. And then the other thing was, how do I provide service in a way that's meaningful to me and to others? What is the meaningful work I can do? And I'm still in that consideration time. And so what I'm doing, the third thing that I would encourage you to do, is take on some experiments. YouTube is an experiment. I used to plan in 3 to 5 year increments. I no longer do that. I am planning that for YouTube. I'm going to give it a year. I'm going to see what happens. Let's see what this platform is all about. And if I can, frankly, coach myself out loud through these videos and maybe provide some value to you. I'm going to pursue some artistic things. Never really would have considered myself artistic, and maybe I'm not, but I'm going to try a few things. Those experiments are actually 30 or 60 days. And if they don't work, and if I don't enjoy them, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to move on, because I don't have 40 more years to build some kind of life that I love. It's time to build it now. And in doing that, I get to try out a bunch of different things that I never would have considered. So I would encourage you that if you're retired, you're not done, right? We get to build a life worth living. We've got lots more chapters to write in this book. I would encourage you to trust God, know that He's got more for you to do. And I think it's a more exciting time probably for me than I've ever had in my life. So I'm curious for you, what's been hard? If you've retired, if you're at your crossroads and you don't have anything on the horizon, what's been hard about that? Or maybe you have, and you actually have a different idea of how to do this that would be helpful to all of us. So I would love to meet you in the comments, hear from you, have a conversation, and see what we can all learn from each other. So those are the thoughts I had. Thanks again for being here. I do appreciate it, and I will see you next time.